Hi, I'm back for the second part of the tutorial on how to make a basket out of a soda can and grocery bags. And what we're going to do here is learn how to weave. Now, in the last tutorial, we cut the can, the soda can, or the beer can, if you want, into 16 strips. And now you can see those strips there. I've kind of fanned them out so they look a little bit like the feathers of a the petals of a flower. And I fanned them out because you can see at the bottom of the basket kind of flares out at the bottom. So I want to start shaping the basket that way. So now I'm going to take both my strips of plastic. I'm going to put one nice down at the bottom, and then I'm going to put the other strip one slot over at the very bottom. And you take it down, and be careful you don't pull too hard because the metal will cut through the plastic if you pull too hard. You can see that it's sticking nice inside. It's nice and snug. And I'm going to start weaving the basket. And the way I do that is by taking the one that's on the left-hand side, and I'm going to take it over a piece and then behind the metal strip, and then bring it down in front. So now the yellow one's on the left-hand side, and with that I'm going to take it over the metal piece, behind the metal piece, and back in front again. Okay, you see, and now I just start over again. I take the one on the left-hand side, and I go over, behind, and back out. And this is the pattern you're pretty much going to do for the entire basket. Over, behind, and out. So keep weaving, and you keep weaving around. Over, behind, and out. And my little high speed thing so you can see how I'm going all the way around. And I've come all the way around to where I started, and you just keep weaving. As you can see now that there are 2 rows because I just kept weaving. And because we are working with an even number of the metal strips, we're getting the pattern of the stripes. So you can see several layers later we were getting more and more stripes. Every so often I like to stop and kind of scrunch the layers down so you can get a nice tight weave. And keep going, and you can see that it's kind of flaring out like the bottom of the basket that we're working on. And as you can see there, we've done the bottom, and now it's time to work on the sides, which are a little more upward, a little more straight up. So we're going to need to shape the basket a little bit more so it goes up. So how we're going to do that is that we're going to push the metal strips up a little more vertical as we continue weaving. So as you see, I pushed the 2 strips up. I pushed the strip up. I wove through. It can be a little bit hard to start with, a little bit awkward, but as you go, you'll get used to doing it. And you push it up, and you just keep doing the normal weave that you've been doing. And push it up and behind, and you just kind of keep holding it up. And as you pull the plastic snug, not too tight, but snug. You don't want it to rip, but pull it so it's kind of against the metal. It'll start holding the metal up in the shape that you want to hold it. So it's pushing it up a little more vertical as we go around. The first row may not be as obvious, but as you keep going, it's going to continue to do the shaping in the shape that you want the basket to go. So here we go. I've done a few more rows, and you can see that the sides of the basket are much more vertical. It was flared at the bottom, but now it's more vertical. And now we're going to have to, this basket has a shape where it starts to get a little more narrow towards the top. So to get it to go more narrow, we want the metal to go or the strips to go more in. The problem is they start to overlap when you start taking them in, as you can see there a little bit, they overlap, and you can't weave when they're overlapped. So what we're going to do is cut off a little bit of the metal so that we can get it closer to each other. So I'll get my scissors, and what I'll do is I go in about, I estimate this about maybe half an inch or so we're going to cut off. Make sure you don't cut your plastic. I'm just showing here that, you know, you want to cut it on an angle so that everything can get narrow at the top. Alright, so I'm going in and I'm going to go and cut it maybe about half an inch from at the very top, and then take it out to the side. So it's kind of a triangular piece that I'm going to cut off. Here we go. I cut off the piece. As you can see here, it's kind of a triangular piece, a narrow triangular piece that came right off of there. Alright. So we're going to continue cutting those little strips off of each one of these, off of the metal, so that we can weave a basket that will be narrower. And as you can see now, I've cut off each of these strips so that we've got nice narrow, we've got nice strips that can go closer to each other so we can make the basket closer. So it looks like we're pretty much ready to go ahead and start weaving again. So we continue with our normal weaving pattern, and we're going to push the metal strips in a little bit towards the center. And there we go. We just go, you know, behind and then out. And I wanted to show something. I wanted to show what happens when you run out of plastic, or you rip your plastic. So what we've done here is I'm showing that there is we've lost some of the plastic, we've run out. So what you do is you cut more plastic, and then you cut it off so that you leave a little bit, enough so that there's enough to weave through a couple more of the metal things. You put it behind, you put your new plastic behind in the next slot over, and you pull them out together. So you see the old yellow plastic and the new yellow plastic are next to each other. Then I went and wove the next one with the gray, and then continue weaving with both the old and the new yellow. Just weave it through. I left the old one inside then, so it's kind of poking out inside, and now I'm just weaving with the new.